What's up, Yins? This week on Car Dad Bill is a 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro in a beautiful lime color with black wheels. Let's go for a ride. All right, guys, so first impressions on the 4Runner TRD Pro. And full disclosure, I've driven a lot of these vehicles over the years, and they all, the TRD Pro especially, and they're all awesome vehicles. 4Runner is one of those bulletproof, four-wheel drive, dyed-in-the-wool, benchmark setting off-road vehicles, right? So like people that really want to off-road and really want to do trail driving and things like that, they go look at these. And I had a client in real estate that had one that was lifted. It had the new tires and the wheels on it, and he was doing a lot of off-roading with it. And those are the things that people want in these TRD Pros. Me personally, I look at it just literally as a dad driving it for a week, and if I'm able to live with it, and I really am. But it's sluggish, it's loud, it's just got some weird things to it. My wife loves them, and I mean, what can I say? It's not a bad vehicle whatsoever. I don't have a problem with Toyota whatsoever making this vehicle, and I think it's a great overall SUV. But my impressions of it is just a little bit too off-roady, too rugged for me. But that's my opinion. That's what makes these great. Let's get to the review. Alright guys, standing outside of the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro in that glorious lime color. Down here, TRD Pro comes with the skid plate, comes with some Toyo or some Nitto tires, comes with some Fox shocks up in there. Comes with these upgraded LED, and thank God LED headlights now in the 4Runner. Camera from front, and it's just a 4Runner with some bells and whistles, right? The good looking 4Runner that everyone comes to expect. Really nice wheel package, wheel and tire package, the running board, this basket up top, pretty cool. Got the rear spoiler, that window comes down, which is really awesome. LED tail lights, TRD Pro exhaust. It's just a rugged off-roader, and it's cold out here. Let's go inside. All right, guys, inside the TRD Pro, it's already turned on. The button's over here. You have rotary gauges, and the only thing that's digital is this center console thing, center of the instrument cluster. That's the different settings in there. You can toggle between with the buttons up here. On this side, all your other buttons for your mirror, for your automatic headlights, for your camera views, and all that good stuff, and your power, turning on your power off and on. But look at the interior overall. It's a very upright interior, very kind of like trucky, and that's okay. No problem there. You got the pistol grip door handles on either side with the upright, and then the buttons are on the top for your windows up there. Sound systems up there, sound systems down there. You got the rugged floor mats, and then kind of like the old world Toyota, you got the time up top, and then you have your flat screen up front here, and then your HVAC controls are down below that with a storage compartment, another storage compartment down here, your USB plugs there, cup holder. Your four-wheel drive shift is right here, and that goes up in the four-wheel drive. And there's the there's how you do it right there. Down here is another cubby hole for stuff, another cup holder, and your normal gear shifter with the TRD Pro logo there. This is kind of like a carbon fiber material looking. heated seats. Your window, that's your window in the back, which is really cool. And one of the things Toyota does in their Tundras and in some of the other vehicles that sets it apart. Lots of cubbies down here, but overall it's kind of a basic interior, right? There's nothing like crazy good about it or bad, really. It's just, this is the TRD Pro interior. And sunroof. Oh, and then the rock crawling speeds. So you have low, medium, and high. You can set that. Hill descent control. And then this is your different, like what you're gonna be doing, like where are you gonna be off-roading at. So that's where that's at. That's where those things are. And I don't use that stuff. That's why it's kind of like just not an afterthought, but it's just there in the video because I don't use hardly any of that stuff for my daily commutes. And then you have your traction control, your four-wheel drive locking differential, and then your sunroof controls. But let's go in the back and see what we can find back there. Back seat, TRD Pro, really decent sized. No problem for my daughter to reach over and plug in her seat belts. No issues there at all. Good leg room back here, places to charge phones and iPads and things, and then you have your storage back there. So let's go back there real fast. You can lock the 4Runner from back here on these buttons, and then the actual button to open it. But you have to pull it. It's not an automatic, okay? And there's no buttons up here, just a pull cord, and then your pockets for your fingers. But back here is big. It's decent sized. I got a bunch of junk back here to see, so you can see what I can all fit. 2 decent sized hockey bags of golf clubs, golf bag. Underneath here is a step ladder, cleats, and then this, let me switch hands. This actually slides out. So you can bring your load out here to unload it, if that makes sense. This slides out. Right now my golf bag's kind of hot, half on and half off of it. Otherwise it would all slide out with it. JBL sound system back here. Plugs back here. Decent sized. Let's go for a ride. Guys, real quick before we go on the ride, I want to go over some of the numbers real fast on the TRD Pro. It's a 22 TRD Pro V6, 4-liter V6, 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque. That's to a 5-speed automatic. The TRD package adds the 17-inch wheels and Nitto tires, the Fox shocks, the skid plates, the grille, the badging, the LED fog lights, the running boards, and a couple other little things like the floor mats and the TRD. Wherever you see TRD in the car, that was added for that package. That brings the TRD Pro package to $54,089. I mean, it's expensive, but honestly, that's what you're gonna pay for something like this, and I think that's reasonable. I think this is like the best of the best 4Runner that you can buy off the lot, so it's gonna be the most expensive one. Now, the biggest downfall that I'm gonna talk about as we drive around is the gas mileage. It says Toyota gives you 17 miles to the gallon. I'm getting 15, and I'm really getting 14. There's no other way to put that. With gas prices the way they are and ever changing, that's expensive, right? Like, it's getting what a V8 would get. But let's get on the road and talk about the good. Let's get into the good and the bad of the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. One of my family favorites. I told you earlier in the first impressions, I've driven a lot of these. I think they're cool cars. They are cool cars, but they're made for people that want to do a lot of off-roading, and I'm not that guy. So that is what it is. First thing on my good list are the bold looks. I love the looks. I love the rack on top. I love the skid plates. I love the lifted appearance. I love the tires and wheel package. I love the exhaust pipe in the back. I love everything about the TRD Pro. And honestly, it keeps me within the bounds of the law as far as the speed goes, right? Because the car guys like to drive, and they like to drive a little bit at the limit. And I'm not gonna say I'm a bad driver, but I like to drive fast, and this thing keeps me from driving fast. So take that for what it is, but it just keeps me from driving fast. You can't really drive this that fast, and there's a reason for it. It's not geared that way. It rides rougher. It has bigger tires, all that good stuff. But number 1 on the list, bold looks. Love that. Let's get back to the list. Number 2 on the list is it's a top dog of the off-road community. It's an absolute benchmark for the off-road community. People that want to do trail riding and things, like I said in the open, this is what they look for. They look for this vehicle, and Toyota knew that, so they made the TRD Pro, and they made it, you know, accessible right off the lot. And I commend them for that, and I think that's the number 2 thing about it, basically out of the box performance, right? LED lighting is my number 3 on my good list, and it's because we didn't have that for many years with the 4Runner. We had LED fog lights, we had LED tail lights, but then we never had them low beams. And the low beams do get into people's eyes when I'm driving. I noticed that while I was driving, and I felt bad about that. But they are so bright and they are so clear, and for the person driving, it's an absolute plus. It's an advantage. So the LED lighting is my number 3. My number 4 on the list is literally the overall comfort. My kids think that the back seat's a little bit thin. I think he called it shallow. One of the kids called it shallow back there. Like they were sliding around and they didn't feel like they were in the seat. They feel like they're kind of on a seat. And that's something to be noted. I mean, kids are back there all the time. They give me their thoughts. I like it. I feel comfortable in my seat. I know that Sophie felt comfortable in her seat. The interior of this vehicle is definitely comfortable. The driving position's great. I don't like the window buttons being at the top of the doors. They always have been. There's nothing different about that. But I don't know if I like that per se. But I do like how the seating position and the driving position has a nice, you're like in the seat feel, and the door frame comes up. Now to the bad list, and I hate to even have a bad list on a TRD Pro, because you're not buying this to be a luxury vehicle with all the bells and whistles. You're not buying this for that. People that buy this want off-road capability, they want utility, they want the TRD Pro, they want the looks, they want the feel. There's definitely a look and a feel to this vehicle, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what the niche is. It's the way it goes. But bad mileage. 15 miles to the gallon. 15 miles to the gallon, and I'm not driving it hard. I already told you, I can't drive this fast. It doesn't want to go fast. That's the number 2 on my list, is the power and the transmission and all that. Now, they function completely fine. There's no malfunction. There's no issue with that. But good grief, is it slow and it's sluggish and it doesn't want to go. And you really have to slam on the gas. And when you slam on the gas, it's screaming and you're not really going anywhere. Like, you're not going to spill your coffee in a 0 to 60 race in this vehicle. You might spill your coffee going over some bumps like I just did, because it goes over the bumps and it loves it and it sucks that up, and that's a good side of it, right? The good side of it is the ride comfort and the way that it takes the trails and does all the stuff. But then there's no power. No power. Number 3 on the list, there's no turning radius either. And I don't know if that's a thing for like off-roading or just the way that it's geared or whatnot, but it's hard to do a 3-point turn in a decent amount of space. Like, it's just difficult. And I notice that kind of quirky stuff when I'm driving around and going through different parking lots and things out, during the week, and you have to do a 3-point turn. Like, I do it in my driveway sometimes just to see if I can swing it into my parking spot, and man, it doesn't have a turning radius like I thought it would with them big tires. Maybe that's why. And the fourth thing, and it's not really, it's a quibble, because it's a wish list kind of thing. Because I don't think they're ever going to do that with the 4Runner, but add a 3rd row. And I know everyone, purists out there, saying, add a 3rd row, go get a Highlander, go get a Sequoia, go get a minivan, Dad. I know, car dad Bill. I have a lot of kids, and I like to take them places. And I hate driving a million cars and to these places. So Sophie wants this vehicle. If they had a 3rd row, we could have like 5 or 6 kids, maybe even 7 in here. for 7 people, that would be wonderful, but they're not gonna do that. So I had to fill my bad list with the fact that it doesn't have a 3rd row, but I don't think it's ever going to have a 3rd row. So that's just wishful thinking on a car dad's behalf. Hey, can't blame me for asking, right? That's this week with Car Dad Bill, the TRD Pro 4Runner, the good, the bad, the ugly. The bottom line in this is it gets bad mileage, it gets great off-road numbers, it has great looks, great comfort, doesn't have a 3rd row. It's a standard 5-passenger SUV, but it's got the ganache of the performance SUV off-road thing that it is, and I give it a thumbs up for that. And it fits that niche well, and it gets looks, especially this lime color. I mean, come on, pure lime, it's lime, and it's bright, and people see you coming, and I feel like that's cool, and that's cool cars, and that's what Car Dad Bill does on this channel. Real cars for real people, for real life. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends. Thanks so much for watching. We will have another vehicle for you coming up soon.